volume up a little bit. That red one on the far right bottom. Just a little. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Okay, that's good. Hare Krishna. Yeah, he's doing something.
Shishi Guru Garanga Vindavika Giridhari Radha Vinod Vihari Radha Govinda Juki Dali Vishwam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parajataya Esi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Ki Dali Vishwam Vishnupad Aspadarasata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gaudiya Guru Varga Ki Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Principal Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Navadvipnam Ki Ganga Devi Ki Jamuna Devi Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Samagata Bhaktivinoda Ki Bhai Gaura Premananda
Hari Bol. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Itadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalamashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Ajanulambita Pujo Kanakavadato Samkirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yuga Dharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudaudaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shamdo Tamonudo Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jayatam Shuruto Pangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratanagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshta Libhi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vam Shivata Tatakstitaha Karshana Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Brindai Tulsi Devyai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshai Kshiptascha Kamari Taranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanara Vinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga, especially to the lotus feet of our Prayojan Tattva Acharya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad, who is the author of Sri Vilapa-kusumanjali. Then I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and all of the Vaishnavis. So yesterday we completed verse 33 and now we're moving on to verse 34. Dattak pralamba ripunod bhata shankachuda nashat pratosi hridayam madhumangalasya hastena ya sumukhi kaustuba mitram etam kim te shyamantakamanим taralam karishye. O beautiful faced one, when will I make the Shyamantaka jewel the central jewel in your necklace? This jewel was given by Balaram to cheerful-hearted Madhumangal after the death of proud Shankachuda. Madhumangal in turn gave it to you, and it has since become the friend of the Kaustuba jewel. Can repeat. Dattak Pralamba Ripunodbhata Shankachuda Nashat Pratoshi Hridayam Madhumangalasya Hastena Ya Sumukhi Kaustuba Mitram Etam Kimte Shyamantaka Manim Taralam Karishye. O beautiful faced one. This is Ekadasi, I won't get that. Ekadasi, sorry. But on the other days I will, thank you. O beautiful faced one. When will I make the Shyamantaka jewel, the central jewel in your necklace? This jewel was given by Balaram to cheerful-hearted Madhumangal after the death of proud Shankachuda. Madhumangal in turn gave it to you, and it has since become the friend of the Kaustuba jewel. Srila Gurudev's commentary. The Holy Festival? No. The Holy Festival and Shyamantaka Jewel. That's the subtitle. First section. What is the Holy Festival?
H-O-L-I?
Yeah. What is that? Holy. You remember, Pram? The colors. Throwing the colors. Holy Festival. So the Holy Festival and Shyamantaka Jewel. So now Gurudev is going to tell the story. It seems that there is no ras in this verse. Does it seem that way? No ras in this verse? Only the history of the jewel being given to Srimati Radhika, but in actuality, this pastime has emanated from the ocean of ras. It seems like there's no ras, Gurudev is saying, but this history has emanated, this pastime, from the ocean of ras. So, he is telling that Krishna has killed Shankachuda and snatched the Shyamantaka jewel from the demon's head. Krishna gave it to his elder brother Balaram, who in turn gave it to Madhumangal. Madhumangal finally gave it to Srimati Radhika. Let us now go deeper in the verse. Very mysterious, Gurudev. Dattak Pralamba. In this verse, Balaram is referred to as the killer of Pralamba, and Krishna is referred to as the killer of Shankachuda. The word Pralamba means cheater. Pralambasur, being a friend of Kamsa, he assumed the false dress of a Saka to cheat Krishna and the cowherd boys. Shankachuda was not a cheater, but he was excessively lusty. So once, at the time of Holi, Krishna and all the gopas and gopis were playing with colors like dry kumkum and with squirt guns. What are they called? Pichkaris in Sanskrit. Pichkaris. They usually use a different term. They don't call them squirt guns, but I think this is the editing of Rasik Mohan, right? What do they call them? Syringes. Yeah, they call them syringes. So, they were playing, all the gopas and gopis were playing with colors like dry kumkum and with squirt guns, pitchkaris full of color at Radha Kund, and everyone was immensely blissful. Krishna was running towards Srimati Radhika to throw kumkum on her face, but Vishaka, Lalita, and the other gopis were trying to obstruct him, pushing him away, saying, "You should not come here." There was so much prem kala going on. Yes. Krishna wanted to somehow defeat all the gopis and reach to Srimati Radhika, and the gopis wanted to obstruct Krishna. So, you know what prem kala? Actually, sometimes it's spelled prem kalaha. That means having argument, right? And there was so much argument going on. Prem argument. So they were all in a very happy mood. They were laughing and joking. Krishna couldn't defeat the gopis because they checked him. But then Krishna took a big pitchkari and squirted colored water on Srimati Radhika. Where was he trying to squirt that color? Krishna had pointed at something. The gopis also had pitchkaris, and they were helping Srimati Radhika, and all the gopas were helping Krishna. They were all in such a good mood. This pastime can be increased so much. One can discuss the position of the gopis of Krishna and how they were all enjoying so much. As they were blissfully enjoying this pastime, Shankachuda came and hid in a kunja from where he could observe them playing. If someone is not sufficiently elevated, he will misunderstand these pastimes in the way that a sahajiya does, and worldly desires will come. So Shankachuda desired that the gopis would be his. Kind of ridiculous, isn't it? All the gopis, the friends of Krishna, Sridham, Subal, Madhumangal, and others, were helping Krishna to give him more enjoyment. They were trying to please Krishna, and the gopis were making Srimati Radhika pleased. They are on the same level as Krishna. Shankachuda was neither a sadhak bhakta or siddha bhakta, but rather just the opposite, a demon. So he became furious with Krishna, thinking, Krishna is enjoying my food. He became very envious and angry, and he waited for the appropriate moment to steal the gopis away from Krishna. So in the course of their playing, Krishna hid, and the gopis began searching for him. Just then, Shankachud came and took Srimati Radhika on his arm, and with an uprooted tree, he began to drive all the other gopis in front of him like sheep. Although Srimati Radhika has the power to destroy all demons within a second, she and the other gopis began crying like ordinary girls. Otherwise, Krishna's pastimes would not go on if she killed the demon. So hearing their crying, Krishna emerged from the kunja and, accompanied by Baladev, pursued the demons as he ran off with Radhika and the gopis. Then Shankachuda left the gopis and took only Srimati Radhika, recognizing her to be the most beautiful. Krishna told Baladev Prabhu, "Stay here and protect the gopis. I will return quickly after killing this demon." Seeing that Krishna was advancing towards him, Shankachuda abandoned Srimati Radhika as well, and he continued to run. But Krishna did not stay with Radhika. He followed the demon, caught hold of him, and killed him with his fist. Krishna saw that there was a jewel on the forehead of Shankachud. He divided the forehead into 2 parts and took out the jewel. Antaka means forehead. So Shyamantaka means the jewel which came from the forehead of Shankachud. Krishna was so pleased, and he returned. He looked towards Radhika, asking, "Why are you weeping?" She was also pleased that she had been saved. Baladev Prabhu also came there. They were all in a good mood again. And Krishna wanted to give the very beautiful jewel to his most beloved Srimati Radhika. But he knew that if he gave it to her, all the other gopis would be envious of her. Krishna always promises each and every gopi, such as Shyamala and Bhadra, that he only loves them, and thereby they become intoxicated and they think, Krishna loves me the most, and leaving everyone, he comes alone to me. We see this also in the Ras Leela. There, then Gurudev quotes the verse from the Ras Leela chapter 29, 10th canto. Tasam tat sobhagamadam vikshyamanam chakeshava prashamaya prasadaya tatraivantaradhiyata. So this means Sri Keshava, seeing the gopis very proud of their good fortune, wanted to free them of this pride and show them further mercy, and thus he at once disappeared. The gopis developed Sobhagamada, that means being intoxicated with pride. Mada, intoxicated. Thinking that they alone are the dearest to him. Seeing that they were fatigued, Krishna massaged their feet, and he removed the sweat from their faces with his yellow chadar. The gopis had this Sobhagamada, thinking, Krishna loves me the most, and therefore they were all thinking that Krishna will give me the Shamantaka jewel. So Krishna saw that if he gave it to Srimati Radhika, the other gopis would be simultaneously angry with him and envious of her. So he thought of a very clever way to give it to her. Yes, so then Krishna thought, Baladev loves me very much, and he knows everything of my heart. He always does everything just to please me. And because he is older than me, if it is given to him, no one can become angry. I know that somehow Baladev will see that it is given to Srimati Radhika. So thinking in this way, he gave it to Baladev Prabhu, who thought, why has Krishna given this to me?
Didn't they give it to Madhumanga first?
No, Baladev. This is the actual pastime. Gurudev is narrating it. Thinking in this way, gave it to Baladev Prabhu, who thought, why has Krishna given this to me? Really, he wants to give it to Srimati Radhika. But there is some danger in him giving it directly to her. I should give it to her, and then no one will be angry. So this is what Baladev was thinking, that Krishna wants to give it to Radhika, but some danger if he gives it to her. Then he says, I should give it to her, and then no one will be angry. But Baladev Prabhu could not give it directly to Radhika because he treats Radhika like a younger brother's wife, and therefore as a daughter. So because Baladev Prabhu does not mix with Lalita Vishaka and the other gopis, He merely gives them blessings from a distance when they offer pranam to him with the corners of their eyes. He thought that he should give it to Madhumangal because Madhumangal is Priyanarma Saka. He sometimes meets with the Manjaris and the Sakis. So then Madhumangal gave the jewel to Vishaka, and Vishaka brought it to Lalita, and together they took it to Srimati Radhika. Yes. They knew that Tulsi Manjari is very near and dear to Srimati Radhika, so they called her to place the jewel in Radhika's necklace. So in speaking this verse, Tulsi Manjari is remembering this pastime, and with the eyes of Bhav is seeing how that jewel was given to her to place on Srimati's necklace near to her very heart. Tulsi Manjari is praying, when will such a fortunate day come when I will be able to again perform this service? The jewel has been given to me. I have such fortune. I will give this Shamantaka jewel around Radhika's neck, and that jewel will come on the heart of Srimati Radhika. Kaustuba mitram etam. She describes, who describes? Tulsi Manjari. She describes that the Shamantaka jewel, which is situated at the heart of Radhika, as being the friend of the Kaustuba jewel, which is situated at the heart of Krishna. Those who are friends can freely meet together and embrace. Tulsi Manjari is immensely eager to arrange the meeting of these jewels. The friendship of the Shamantaka jewel and the Kaustuba jewel depends solely on the friendship between Radhika and Krishna. And she desires that they will meet and thereby make the two jewels friends and thereby make Krishna happy. So in this verse, she refers to Radhika as Sumukhi, she who has a beautiful smile. Sumukhi means when any thought of joy comes, then this is seen on the face. The face is the mirror of the heart. And when someone smiles, it indicates that their heart is full of joy. So, Srimati Radhika is smiling here because upon hearing this prayer of Tulsi Manjari, she is pleased and astonished that Tulsi Manjari possesses such a strong memory that she can remember this pastime and how she wants the Shamantaka jewel and the Kaustuba jewel to always be friends. Srimati gives Tulsi a gentle slap on her back and embraces her. When devotees remember pastimes like these, it pleases Srimati Radhika and Krishna. Kim te shamantaka taralam karishye. There are so many meanings of taralam. One meaning is madhyam, in the middle, in the center. So what word are we saying? Taralam. And one meaning is madhyam, in the middle, in the center. So at the center of the heart, the Kaustuba jewel will meet Shamantaka. But the main thought is here. Taralam karishye, to move. When Krishna runs or he is breathing, the kundala is moving. Not moving, but embracing Krishna. And Krishna makes it so beautiful. Here, Taralam Karishye means that when Krishna and Radha meet and embrace, then their necklaces also meet together. Raghunath Das Goswami prays, when will I see that pastime? I want this fortune. Tulsi Manjari is praying to Srimati Radhika. O Devi, O Srimati Radhike, please give me the fortune that I can perform this service. This is the hidden meaning in this. The wealth of the whole world is not equal to even a drop of this wealth. These are very good meanings, and they can only be achieved by honest seva of Gurudev. I think that what we have heard is all because of Guru's mercy. If we have Guru's mercy, then we can have it in our heart. This is to be realized only. That ends Gurudev's commentary on this 34th verse. Any observations, comments, or on this, what we just heard?
That when he's speaking,
Use the mic.
So he's encouraging those who are immediately hearing this, back so many years ago, 30 years ago, to develop more and more shraddha in Guru Seva, in Prabhupada Seva, because when he's speaking, that I think this can only come about by having a strong faith in your Guru. He's encouraged them to have strong faith in their Prabhupada. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course. But without saying it, he's also indicating to them that how did this come? Guru Seva. I did that Guru Seva. And that's why I'm able to give this to you. And what you should do is, he says, this can only be achieved by honest seva of Guru, not kapatya. Kapatya means deceitful. Right?
And honest seva means that they're hearing from him through his Guru.
Obviously. They went as far as to perform Guru Puja, I heard. I don't know if they did it more than once, but at least they did it. They performed Guru Puja to him at one point. But just see.
Accepted him as Shiksha Guru.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is Shiksha Guru right here.
Exactly. And Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru are one. Yeah, Gurudev is not going very extensively into talking to them about Guru Tattva, but he's measuring, he's analyzing their condition, and he's telling here that these are very good meanings and they can only be achieved. All of these purports and meanings and understandings, they can only be achieved by honest seva of Guru. I think that what we have heard is all because of Guru's mercy. So Gurudev is saying, because of my Gurudev's mercy upon me, because of Prabhupada's mercy upon you, and because of my mercy upon you. I think that what we have heard is all because of Guru's mercy. If we have Guru's mercy, then we can have it in our heart. In our heart. If we have Guru's mercy. Honest seva. Because Gurudev is very aware that their approach to him is mixed. Not completely honest. They have other motives also, which came, very clearly came at a certain time, and then disconnect. So how can that be honest? No way. If it's honest, there can never be any disconnect. Never. It's impossible. And if we have Guru's mercy, then we can have it in our heart. That means we can realize it in our heart. Without Guru's mercy, not possible. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadana gati gutopi. So he says, this is to be realized only, not memorized. Now you know, or you put it into your little
Memory bank.
yeah, memory bank, like a box.
Collect interest.
Yeah. So, but that's not what this katha is for. There are many brilliant people who they're not devotees even. They're just regular karmic conditioned souls. They have extreme memories. They could probably listen to this and repeat it verbatim. There are such people. Very, very genius level people. But can they realize it? Never. We see that sometimes in devotees as well. That they have very good memory recall and like that. But then they very much displease Guru. We see that. We see that. So there are so many cases. Even in Gaudiya Math, after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Yeah. So, now we go on to verse 35. Pranta dvaye parivirajita guccha yugma vibrajitena navakanchana dorakena kshinam trutatyata krishodari ched itiva badnami bhos tavakadati bhayena madhyam. The verse reads, O slender-waisted one, when fearing that your slender waist might break, we always hear Gurudev telling, right? That the gopis' waists were so thin that they would look like they would almost break. And here it is, in the verse mentioned by Raghunath Das Goswami. O slender-waisted one, when fearing that your slender waist might break, will I carefully tie it with a new golden belt, splendid with flower cluster tassels at each end. Can repeat. Pranta dvaye parivirajita guccha yugma viprajitena navakanchana dorakena kshinam trutatyata krishodari ched itiva badnami bhos tavakadati bhayena madhyam. O slender-waisted one, when, fearing that your slender waist might break, when, fearing that your slender waist might break, will I carefully tie it with a new golden belt, splendid with flower cluster tassels at each end. So the first section is titled Krishodari Radhe. Krishodari. Krishodari Radhe. Okay. In the last verse, Raghunath Das Goswami prayed that he will be able to give the Shamantaka jewel, the friend of the Kaustuba jewel, but when he came in outer sense, he was weeping and feeling so much separation. Again, he went into an inner dasha, and he saw that the Shamantaka jewel was very beautifully hanging around Radhika's neck. And it was reminding him about the pastime connected with Shamantaka and Kaustuba. She was so glad. Now she wanted to decorate Srimati's waist. She saw towards her waist and became so joyful. So many pastimes came like a spurti, and she was smiling and reminding Srimati Radhika of them. Tulsimanjali is addressing her with the word Krishodari. That means slender-waisted girl. Krishodari. This is a good qualification of beautiful ladies. Radhika's waist is very lean and thin. Her chest is very heavy and broad, and her hips are also heavy. But in the middle, her waist is very lean and thin. In the Rasa Stali, when Srimati Radhika was dancing in a very good mood and sometimes bending, Krishna was fearing that her waist will break. He was watching her carefully, while many moods were coming in his heart. And he was feeling so much joy. The Kinkaris were seeing this as well, and they were all in a joyful mood. So Raghunath Das remembered all the pastimes that are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Govinda Lilamrita and Krishna Bhavanamrita. He was smiling and thinking what to do now, so that when Srimati Radhika will dance, her waist will not break. Thus, as Tulsi, she took a golden sash with black and red tassels on each side to tie the waist of Radhika. Parivirajita Gucha Yugma. Srimati Radhika is hinting to Tulsi Manjari to put the sash around her waist. She took a very beautiful sash with tassels on both ends. Vibrajitena navakanshana dorakena. While binding it on Radhika's waist, she was remembering the pastimes of Krishna. But when Tulsi Manjari began to tie it, suddenly she saw that there was no Srimati Radhika. Nothing. And as Raghunath, he again began to weep and lament and roll on the bank of Radha Kunda. Oh, Srimati Radhike, you are so beautiful, and your waist is so slender that I fear it will break. When will you order me, and I will have a golden chance to decorate your waist with a golden sash, so that Krishna will have no fear that it will be broken. The next section is titled The Gold Guard. The Gold Guard. Das Goswami says, you have long hair and your head is decorated with braids, gold, and jewels. Your body carries a lot of weight. But how can you carry this? O Kishori, you have a very thin waist. If this breaks, then what will I do? Therefore I will carefully bind your waist with a golden belt. Why does Das Goswami pray to use a gold belt? Gold is beautiful, light and bright, and of a similar color to Radharani. Gold is not selfish. It is like a helpful servant. Gold doesn't leave its post as a servant. If you make a golden ornament, it lasts for a very long time. Even if it breaks, still it can be repaired. Many sevaks serve for 1 or 2 days, giving cloth, food, water, lodging, and so forth, but after a few days they fly off like fireflies. This is not called a sevak. A real sevak is like gold, steady and permanent. A sevak will not be like silver, which may oxidize and lose its potency. Gold doesn't lose its value. Other things may come and mix with gold, but then it can be heated and all other minerals and metals will be burnt out. That's Gurudev's short commentary on this verse. So what do you think? Give the mic.
No, I was just going.
Oh,
Jai.
any thoughts on this one?
Just a question.
Yeah.
What is it? Just the gold color being referred to, or actual gold for
No, gold.
for her waist?
Actual gold.
For her waist.
Yeah.
Because there is talk of tassels. That's how they.
Yeah,
attach
but the belt is gold with the tassels.
Tassels are flower, right?
It says flower. I can't make out if it's made of flowers or if it's shaped like flowers, because it said it would be black and what was the other color? Red and black tassels. Yeah. So, but this is an interesting point that Gurudev is making. I actually didn't think of this before. Of course, we know that everyone's telling, buy gold, buy silver. Because it's the gold guard, right? So gold has always played such a role, because it's inherent value, right? It's innate value. Everything about it is useful and beautiful. And like he's saying, that if you make any kind of jewelry with gold, it lasts for a very, very long time. And it never loses like silver does. It doesn't tarnish, right? Yeah. So, but in today's strange world that we live in, now they're talking about how silver will surpass gold in terms of value on the market because silver is needed so much and there's a shorter supply of silver than there is of gold. At least that's what they say. No one can know what they're hiding or whatever. And because Mexico has a very big supply of silver, by that, Mexico in the near future is going to be a very prosperous place. That's predicted. But back to the point that Gurudev is making here. Gold is long-lasting, right? Gold is not a cheap thing. It's very, very valuable. It lasts a long time. And it can never be contaminated, ultimately. Because as he just said, even if contamination mixes in, then you just have to heat it and beat it and the contamination leaves, right? So he's saying about sevaks, and he's bringing up the point that gold is not selfish. It is like a helpful servant. Gold doesn't leave its post as a servant. If you make a gold ornament, it lasts for a very long time. Even if it breaks, still it can be repaired. Now he makes the comparison. Many sevaks, they serve for 1 or 2 days, giving some cloth, food, water, lodging, and so forth. But after a few days, they fly off like what? Remember what example he used? Like fireflies. They fly off. This is not called a sevak. A real sevak is like gold, steady and permanent. Nice example. And therefore also very valuable. Right? We see that our acharyas, they've made comments. Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they've all made some comments that towards many of their disciples who have been with them for some time. I remember reading this one comment from Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada that he was telling, actually, none of you really have met me. You really know me. I mean, not none. Most of you. Most of you really have not met me. So, this is a very, very stringent test to pass from the Acharya. Because when Sri Guru has sufficiently tested a disciple, then he accepts that person, right? Yes. When that disciple proves with this one main quality, that he doesn't go away, right? Doesn't go away. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur commented that same thing about our beloved Srila Prabhupada when he was attending the Kartik Parikrama, I'm not sure which year, 32 or 34, something like that. And, they were going to go to see Sheshai Vishnu, but there was going to be a separate party. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told any devotees who want to go, they can go. It's like in the afternoon, late afternoon. But, but he would give Katha. And so a lot of the pilgrims, they went to see the Sheshai Vishnu and that place right next to it, Charan Pahari place. We've gone there so many times with Gurudev. Remember that place? There's a small pond, and then next to the pond is like a little forested area with a lot of larger rocks, and they have the imprints of Krishna's and Balaram's lotus feet, right? And from there, we walk across a field, it's right in the middle of a field, and it's usually right toward the end of the whole parikrama when they go there. And remember that, they would arrange for prasad at this village, but it was just like really a crossroads of tractor trails, but they would come there and they would bring all the prasadam with tractors that had been cooked at the mutt, and I remember that almost every time we came there we took what's it called? The dahi. No.
Church.
No.
Oh.
It's food. It's the main course. It's what is it called? Like barats, kind of like barats, but there's a name for it. I'm forgetting that name. Dahi vada, or not dahi vada. No, because they make it hot. It's not dahi vada. That's a cold preparation. What is it called? And they make a hot sauce, and they they first of all fry the vadas in them. And they, curry.
Okay.
Yes, curry sauce.
Right.
Yeah, curry sauce with the vadas in it and poured over rice. I remember, we would always take that there. And some villagers would bring some rotis and simple prasadam. So that place, their parikrama party was set up not so far from that place, with all the tents and everything. And so that evening, early evening, a lot of the pilgrims went, but a few stayed back to hear from Prabhupada. And one of them was our Srila Prabhupada, right? And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati commented that I like this boy. He likes to hear. He does not go away. And then, later on, when Srila Prabhupada would remember that event with his Guru Maharaj, and he would say, yes, my Guru Maharaj told me that he liked me because I was always anxious to hear. And then Prabhupada told, and because I was anxious to hear, now I'm capable to speak like that. So, the relationship between Guru and disciple is so intimate. When Guru accepts a disciple as a servant, that's not a small thing. Actually accepting as a servant. Because that Guru is seeing this quality in the disciple of dedication and loyalty. Remember how Gurudev talked about loyalty in 2005 in the LA temple after his morning walk? And he asked, who can say what is loyalty? And it turned out that year, a couple of his unfortunate disciples were in the process of disconnecting and leaving. So Gurudev was stressing this point, that loyalty in the disciple is like one of the foremost qualities. Just like we see in the transcendental pastimes of the, of the eternal Dham, that all of these relationships, especially the Kinkaris, they've earned that position by their absolute loyalty to Srimati Radhika. She trusts them so much. That relationship is there. She never doubts them at all. They have proven endlessly, infinitely, for all infinite time, that they belong to Srimati Radhika, and Radhika is their Ishtadevi. Even more so than Krishna. So gold, a sevak, a real servant, a real sevak is like gold, steady and permanent. A sevak will not be like silver, which may oxidize and lose its potency. Gold doesn't lose its value. Other things may come and mix with gold, but then it can be heated, and all other minerals and metals will be burnt out. So such a nice example that Tulsi Manjari, is using a gold belt around Srimati Radhika's waist. So I think we'll finish here. And tomorrow we will read verse 36. Verse 36, which is saying, O golden one, when will your nose, which defeats the sesame flower, receive from my hand a beautiful golden honey pearl that agitates the great bumblebee, Krishna? So we'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah, some of the commentaries are getting shorter now. Yeah, so we'll be going much more quickly through the verses. There's a few, but they're all like 1 page or less even, all the commentaries. So we'll move very quickly because we've got about 64 verses before the ending. But there's commentary for the verses all along the way. Here's one, verse 42. It has a few pages. Yeah, quite a few pages. Yeah. So much nectar to come. what will we do? We don't have a container to keep the nectar. Yeah, our container has holes. At least mine does. Oh, here's a very long purport. Yes. Okay. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Govinda Jil Ki Jai. Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe,
Jaya Krishna,
Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe,
Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radha,
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe,
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe,
Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari,
Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari,
Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur,
Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur,
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol,
Jai Gaur,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Saparika Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Govinda Jiyo Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Ekadasi Titi Madhavi Titi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namah Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pada Ki Jai Shri Vilapa-kusumanjali Ki Jai.